That means there should be a guideline to vaccinate. So that Sri Lanka has already formulated. So if you consider in other countries, Western world, even in Great Britain, they have a guideline to vaccinate the healthcare workers and frontliners. Then it's come to the immediate family members of the healthcare workers. Then they come to the age category. So beyond 80 years, then beyond 70 years as such. So even look at the instances happen in UK, even the Prince Williams, he has to wait for his turn when the age group comes. But in Sri Lanka, it is haphazardly being administered. So that we allegate those issues with the epidemiologists. They have the responsibility of vaccinating all the population.
So, doctor, let's talk about the vulnerable groups. Let's talk about the groups that Dr. Fernando pointed out, like those with non-communicable diseases, like may it be cancer, may it be asthma, may it be hypertension, may it be diabetes, may it be a kidney disease. Aren't these individuals the vulnerable groups? Because yes, at the end of the day, if someone can live for another 3 years, and if that person, as Dr. Fernando said, can plan out his lifestyle based on the next 3 years at least, mustn't they be in the category of vulnerable groups, and mustn't they be given the vaccine first? But there are ample individuals in Sri Lanka who have got the first dose and who don't have the second dose.
Yes, certainly.
But the GMOA takes a selfish stand on this.
No, we reliably understand that means there are gross irregularities in the vaccination programs. Already we have protested and we have drafted a letter to the Minister of Health. So it is the Ministry's responsibility to investigate on those allegations, but it is not being properly conducted right now. So that the authority should take the necessary action to administer the vaccine according to the guidelines. So who is responsible in Health Ministry? It's the epidemiology unit.
Let me ask you a layman's question, Dr. Vasanathan Singh. Now let's say there is an individual who is in the vulnerable group. Let's say there is someone who has hypertension, who has diabetes, who has asthma, who has a kidney disease. So if this person has got the first dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine, if they want the second dose, in dire need of the second dose, what must they do?
Yeah, of course, they also should get it. So we are not against that.
How can they get it?
We are not against that. But,
how can they get it?
No, it is the government responsibility to get down all vaccines and administer it.
No, the problem is the government is not doing that. The problem is the government doesn't have a plan. The problem is the fact that people like Uday Gammampila are saying that it's okay to mix and match, whereas Dr. Sudarshani Fernandopulle is saying, no, don't do that. Now, that is the problem that we have.
No, from the beginning, right, so that's a pandemic. This is a pandemic, and also WHO has declared it a public health emergency. So we requested politicians even not to politicize this pandemic. So listened to the healthcare experts and their plan outs, so that the vaccine also should be administered according to the guidelines. So Sri Lanka, they say that they have formulated the guidelines, but it's not being administered according to the guidelines.
Doctor, very quickly.
Now if you consider, say, the risk areas, now say earlier when they started vaccinating programs, almost say half of the country was in the red zone. But now you see almost beyond 98% of the country red zone. So if they have started the vaccination program according to the risk areas, because they identify, because unit is responsible for the data collection and analysis, they should give a prediction to the country. So it is their responsibility, so that we are also part of it. So even when you take the President Task Force of the COVID-19, but we are one of the major stakeholders, right? Even the technical committee of Ministry of Health, we are the major stakeholders, but they don't share any data collected with us.